What's going on with gold? I'm going to show you exactly when I think gold is going to finally make its move. I'm going to show you where the US dollar topped out, and it's a huge earnings week. I'm trying this new format, the 7 Insights format. We're going to see if I like it. In the meantime, understand that nothing we say here is ever intended as personalized trading advice. On behalf of myself and the entire Peter Leeds team, we love you guys. We do this for you, we do this because of you, and that's a verifiable fact. And by the way, we're going to see the 14 finalists from the Peter Leeds 1 ounce gold coin contest. I'll show you the 14 photos which made it to the second round at the very end of this video. Everybody's earnings are coming out this week. We've got McDonald's already today before the markets opened. Coca-Cola, General Motors, Alphabet, and Microsoft. That's today. Tomorrow we got Boeing, Ford, Meta, and Qualcomm. Then Thursday we've got Comcast, Apple, Amazon, and Friday, ExxonMobil, Chevron. So basically the entire economy in the next few days. Much of this week's focus is from CNBC Pro. Will center around the U.S. Federal Reserve's 2-day policy meeting concluding on Wednesday, with economists broadly expecting a 75 basis point hike to interest rates. And you guys know when I see a video or I get some information that I think you need to see. I've done this a few times in the past with Lynette Zhang videos or with Josh Wolf videos. This is a video that I really need you to see because it's finally someone who is exactly expressing what I've been telling you, saying it in a way that you'll understand it better. If you can't get the message from me, this is exactly what I've been saying for months, if not years. This is a Kitco interview from Alan Corbani, and I'll show you exactly the one part I pulled out that you need to see where he sums up my entire premise.
But the reality is that inflation has been decelerating for the last 3 months.
Well,
Number one.
Okay.
Number one.
All right.
When we enter a slowdown of an economy, demand slows down. If demand comes down, well, you will definitely have less pressure on prices. And this is exactly what we have been observing. And to validate this point, if you look at the first quarter GDP that the US had to publish, it was negative by more than 1%. And if you look at what's going to happen in the second quarter for the US economy, it's also going to contract because the latest statistics show that most probably the second quarter will be down another 1.5%. This is again based on the latest statistics of the Federal Reserve out of Atlanta. So if you have a recession, you have less pressure on prices. This is obvious. And this is exactly what has been happening. The markets have been telling us for the last 3 years that we are entering a dangerous contraction in the economy, and that will lead to less pressure on prices.
And just before I tell you what's going to happen on Wednesday, which is big, I've got to give you guys a huge thank you. A lot of you have been joining the Peter Leeds Army, and this is from DA. Glad to join your army of supporters for the monthly price of a cup of coffee. I always look for and watch your new videos before other video channels. So joining you is the least I can do to say thank you for the time you put into making the videos for us. And it's a huge thank you from me to you. You guys are really encouraging me. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff as we build the army. One of the things I'm going to do, among many others, is if we get enough supporters, we're going to make a stink about the fact that the Wall Street Bull is not wheelchair accessible. I think that I have every right to pat at the Wall Street Bull like everyone else does, but you can't get there with a wheelchair unless you've got people to lift you up the curb. So Wednesday they're going to raise rates. 3/4 of a point or 100 basis points, doesn't matter either way. What you guys know is that there's going to be less mortgage demand, less ability to pay for the mortgages you have, less ability to get the mortgage or the house that you want to buy. It's also going to affect all of their stratas of debt, such as credit cards, your auto loans, your line of credit, assuming you have a variable rate mortgage or a variable rate credit line. If it's a set rate, then it won't change at all. But most people, such as on credit cards, they have a variable rate. You're going to be paying more. Right in the middle of all this inflation, when you can't afford gasoline and food, now everything's going to cost more because the Federal Reserve has decided that they're going to punish the economy. to make up for the mistakes that they made in the past. But you know we're going to get into a recession. And I want to give you guys a quote that somebody who seems to know what they're talking about said that I want to address. But there will be a recession, of course. And with recession comes rising layoffs, and therefore, of course, the unemployment rate starts creeping higher. And any way you look at it, we're going to either have negative growth or really slow growth, anemic growth going forward. And that's part of the reason I'm saying that inflation is going to come down. It's going to come down organically because no one can afford to buy anything. So the competitive price inflation will diminish. And as you know, since it's going to be a recession, what's happened in every single recession ever? Interest rates have fallen. As we get into the recession, rates will come down. Interest rates will come down. That'll be good for gold, but then also right here is where I think the US dollar topped out. That was a lot of strength going up to there, and now it's going back to a realistic level, reverting back to the mean. I think that might be the high water mark for the US dollar going forward from here for many quarters from now. And as the US dollar comes down, that's good for gold. But just wait, this is when I think gold's going to really ramp higher, is when they start lowering interest rates because they're in the recession. Every recession rates come down. This recession will be no different. Why would it? And the rates will come down, and when that happens, all of a sudden the perspective on gold will switch, will snap back to reality. Gold prices will go to where they should have been years ago. And this comes from the files of what I call false alarm. JP Morgan's Kolonovich says a mild recession is already priced in. He's correct. And so the worst is behind us. He's incorrect. The worst is not behind us just because it's priced in. And it is a mild recession which has been priced in already. Everyone's expecting the recession. It's widely known, and they're acting based on that fact. But it's not going to be a mild recession. It's got the potential to be a significant recession, if not a depression. But listen to what this guy said. While recession odds are increasing, a mild recession appears to already be priced in based on the year-to-date underperformance of cyclical versus defensive equity sectors, the depth of negative earnings revisions, yada, yada, yada. But the point is what he said. While the recession odds are increasing, that's demonstrably false. It's an impossibility to know it to be true. The odds of a recession are 100%. It's like when you see a pharmaceutical drug company saying that it reduces your chance of death. It doesn't reduce your chance of death. The chance of death is always unchanged. The chance of recession is always 100%. And wow, you guys, I said, tell me where you're from, what major city. We've got people from 2 different cities in Ireland. We've got people from Tel Aviv, all over the States, of course. Even Cardiff, Wales. I'll put them all on the screen right now so you can see where everybody said they were from that was watching that other video. Speaking of which, tell me in the comments below this video, when do you think the recession will be here on the ground? When will it officially begin, or has it already begun? Let me know what you think. So here you can see the 14 round 1 finalists from the gold coin contest. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the photos I thought were incredible and should be deserving of the prize. They didn't even make it to round 2. It's all based on you guys' votes. And these are the 14 photos that you all chose to make it to round 2. And I take a loss on this, okay? It's the best prize on the internet. For the number of people who actually enter and the prize amount, it's a great contest. We've got lots of prizes, the Peter Leeds Academy, the candlestick course, we've got the gold coin, and there will be all sorts of other prizes too, like digital copies of my book. The last contest was a coffee mug contest. Awesome time, that was great, but I don't want to have to do all the shipping fees and all that, so.
In a down market like now, I know, I mean, it's sort of common sense that you don't sell what you have, but you don't know when that up market is going to come, and he seems to kind of have a sense of where it's moving and what you should hold on to and what you should let go of.